Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Inside Track, Equibase's weekly handicapping podcast, sponsored by FanDuel Racing, where we give our analysis, picks, and wagers for a couple of the weekend's top races. I'm your host, Ben Kudla, and today I welcome for the first time on the show Ryan Anderson, host of the Saturday Show on America's Best Racing, as well as the host of the Gallop Out Handicapping podcast on HHH YouTube. Along with his top-tier podcast, Ryan interned at Del Mar during 2024, worked at Santa Anita during the fall and winter meet, and we're so happy to have him on the show. So thank you for being here, Ryan.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Good to be on your show. We had you on ours a couple weeks ago over on the Gallop Out on YouTube, and now I get to join yours. We get to talk some graded stakes races. I'm excited.
Yeah, it was so much fun with you and Jackson. It was a bummer how it turned out. We literally recorded the podcast, and then they moved it all to Tuesday.
I know. But, hey, they ended up running the races anyway, so it just gave you a little more time to watch the video and take in some good information. So it all worked out in the end.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes it rains. But, I love hearing about how people, especially younger people like you and me, got into racing. I know you got a pretty cool story. So what got you hooked on this great game?
Yeah, I'm a Southern California kid. So I was born and raised in San Diego. Never went to the track, really. I was a big sports guy, like football, baseball. And then when I turned 18, I got into sports betting, as most of us do, because it's always fun to fire off, a parlay here or there. But I had a buddy of mine, and he took me to the Del Mar racetrack for Pacific Classic Day in 2019 and watched Maximum Security cross the wire first. And, that whole day, I don't think I cashed a single bet, but I had never lost money in a more exciting way. And the whole atmosphere there is just it catches you in a second and you can't ever leave. And yeah, I never really left. So kept going back every summer. Obviously not 2020 because, there wasn't any live racing, but 2021, 2022, 23, I was there pretty much every Friday, Saturday, Sunday that I could be. And 2024 last year, I was lucky enough to intern there at Del Mar with the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club. And that was an excellent venture, and that kind of led me into the podcast world and talking about races live every day or as much as I can, and I love it. It's been a ton of fun, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon.
That's such a great story, man. You're just getting hooked, and we all love this great game, and it's so great to have younger people join and get involved and enjoy the sport we all love. But anyway, we do have another great weekend of racing ahead. Just a couple weeks remaining until the 151st running of the Kentucky Derby. Derby fever is in full swing. You get free past performances for Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks probables on Equibase.com. And along with the arrival of Triple Crown season is the deal. So now through June 8th, take advantage of our $99 promotion for quarterly unlimited subscription to Racelens or Equibase premium past performances to take your handicapping game to the next level. Here are your promo codes on the bottom of your screen to take advantage. It will also be posted in the video description down below, as well as all Equibase social media. So there are 7 graded stakes across North America this weekend, but today's show, we're going over the Grade 2 Elkhorn Stakes and Grade 3 Ben Ali Stakes this Saturday at Keeneland, where Ryan and I will give a $1 straight daily double, as well as a $1.25 million Grade 2 Oaklawn Handicap. So let's just dive into this Grade 2 Elkhorn. That's race 9 at Keeneland on Saturday, 1.5 miles on the turf for 4-year-olds and up. Last year's winner was Silver Knot at odds of 5-1 for trainer Charlie Appleby with Flavian Pratt aboard. Since 1991, the average winning Equibase speed figure for the Elkhorn is 112 Equibase speed figure. I don't know why I wanted to look that up, but I decided to. We got a full field of 12 on Saturday, plus and also eligible. Ryan, here's your debut. Who are you picking for the Elkhorn?
Yeah, I'm sticking on the rail. I'm going against the favorite, the number 6 limited liability in here, trained by Shug McGahee. That last run, I can't make an excuse for why that horse didn't win, and I'm not going to take that one back at another short price. So I'm going to go with the rail runner Rebel Red, who came off the bench last time in the Muniz Memorial down at Fairgrounds. Fired a very decent effort, kind of just ran in place, clearly looked like a horse that needed one. But I've been waiting for this horse to stretch back out to a marathon distance. 2 back at Aqueduct in the Red Smith, the Grade 2 Red Smith. Rebel Red ran a really good third and ran a career best speed figure for Cherie DeVoe and Jose Ortiz that day. So I think this horse just really wants to go this marathon distance out of Frankel by a Lemon Drop Kid mare, can clearly run all day. So I've been looking forward to this horse stretching back out. I think second off the bench is a very reasonable spot. The field didn't come up too tough in the sense of, there's no Silver Knots. There's no European invaders kind of storming in here to take anything. So I think you have a favorite that you can definitely beat. at least in my opinion. So for me on top, that's going to be the number 1 Rebel Red. I also have to give some love to the number 4 Verstappen for Brendan Walsh and Declan Cannon aboard. This horse loves Keeneland, and this horse loves the marathon distance. 2 back again, another really strong buyer in the JB Conley at Sam Houston Raceway, finishing a close second behind Segoy, who came back to run pretty deep. But Verstappen, another one who just loves to go this marathon length. And the last one I want to talk about my top 3. It's the other Cherie DeVaux runner. It is Miss the Cut. Johnny V is going to be up this weekend. Just got his first win not too long ago here at Keeneland in a turf sprint, bringing a huge upset. So he's clearly feeling himself, and we know jockeys, when they get hot, they're going to be riding with some confidence. So I think Johnny's going to take these wins, get him into this weekend. And this horse, another one, second off the bench for Cherie DeVaux, off a trainer switch from John Sadler, who used to train this runner, but ran at Keeneland going the 1.5 miles in the Elkhorn last year, finished second by just a length and a half behind Silver Knot. That you mentioned was the winner of this last race. But this runner going 1.5 miles, 298 speed figures. So I think this horse is going to run right in that range again, and that should be more than enough to put this one deep into contention in a pretty, again, competitive, but not no real standouts in this field. So I'm going to try and get a price in this first leg with the 1 on top and the 4-9 as well on my ticket.
You made some excellent points there, Ryan. I cannot believe in a 1.5 mile turf race at Keeneland, there's not one European bred horse. That's wild. I don't know if I've ever seen that. I do like Miss the Cut. I looked at a horse quite a bit. I'm just so concerned these horses go overseas and come back and they're just not the same, but I hope the best for him. I mean, we'll see. And yeah, Johnny V up is a great rider going on there. But anyway, so I'm going to go a little bit different route here. Oh, that's the Ollie. Excuse me. I'm going to go with the 2 Grand Sonata with a morning line of 4-1, which I thought was a little bit generous. Very classy horse by Medaglia d'Oro for the Top Pletcher barn with Junior Alvarado aboard, coming off his injury. I believe he rode for the first day yesterday back at Keeneland. Grand Sonata has the highest lifetime earnings in the race, ranked first in average class at the 114, ranked first in average speed with a 109. Coming off a very game second place finish in that grade 2 Mac D'Armida Stakes at Gulfstream last time out in March 1st, going 1 3/8 mile on the turf. When you watch that race, Irad Ortiz having a perfect spot, stalking off the pace for most of the race. He's 4th going into the lane and went in the middle of the track, was gaining with every single stride, but just narrowly missed by a head. If that race was a furlong longer, like it will be on Saturday, I think he wins 10 out of 10 times. So I'm very excited for a slight stretch out in distance. Here to 104 Equibase speed figure for that performance, which is a little lower than normal. However, he's earned a triple-digit Equibase speed figure in his last 11 consecutive starts. So this horse loves Keeneland. Broke his maiden here back in October of 2021, going 1 mile and 16th on dirt. Finished second in the Grade 3 Transylvania at Keeneland in April of 22. Going 1 mile and 16th on the turf. He has not run back at Keeneland since. In the past 5 years, Pletcher wins at 23% in graded stakes races at Keeneland and 47% in the money, 17 wins from 75 starts. He's got a good post to sit right off the pace and pounce in the final stretch, just like he did in that Mac D'Armida. And going back to November, Grand Sonata did run 11th in the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Turf, but he has had 3 solid performances since. I think he's really due for a win. Breezing well at Palm Beach Downs, otherwise known as Top Pletcher Training Center. But I would like to see a little better than 4-1, maybe, if everybody's going to go on limited liability. But I'm going to bet against limited liability. I just can't believe an 8-5 morning line for a horse that's never won graded stake before, but I am going to pick him to be second, regardless of not winning. He is always consistently up there, and he, on paper, he looks really tough for Shug McGahee with Frankie Dettori aboard. I mean, coming off 5 really great efforts for real. I mean, finishing 3rd by a neck in the Grade 2 Belmont Gold Cup, finished 2nd by 2 1/4 lengths on the Cape Henlopen Stakes at Delaware in August, runs off by 8.5 lengths in the National Gold Cup at KD, Kentucky Downs, finished 2nd by 2 lengths in the Grade 2 Red Smith Integration, who we saw ran very well last time at Keeneland. And then last time I finished his 3rd in the Grade 3 William McKnight. And like you said, yeah, he didn't really have an excuse to not win that, and he really should have. But another reason I'm really not going to pick him on top. Shug has also been pretty cold at Keeneland so far this meet. Frankie and Shug are 0 for 5 in graded stakes the past 3 years, by the way, as well. So 8-5, definitely looking elsewhere. One horse that did kind of interest me is this 12 Balnikov, an Irish bred. I guess this is one Irish bred in the race, excuse me. But Phil D'Amato with Florent Giroux aboard. D'Amato and Giroux rarely have starts together. The past 3 years, they are 0 for 10 with just 2 in the money. So that deterred me quite a bit. But this horse is no stranger to graded stakes races. His past 19 starts have been in graded stakes races. That's wild. 19 starts in a row, graded stakes. But coming off a bad race in the Pegasus World Cup Turf, finishing 10th by 5.5 lengths. But he's got a pattern going. Runs well in the Grade 2 Del Mar Handicap in August, then finishes 10th next time out in the Grade 2 Cali Crown, then runs second by half a length in the Grade 2 Hollywood Turf Cup, and then runs bad last time out in Pegasus Turf. So if he kind of continues on, he could be due for a big run. He's 1 for 1 at Keeneland, winning the Grade 2 Bryan Station way back in October of 2022. Only been at this 1.5-mile distance before once, but he ran really well, finishing second and closing. D'Amato is just winning at 15% in the past 3 years at Keeneland in all races. Another reason I kind of didn't pick him on top. But 8-1 definitely add in for the exacta. So there you go.
I like it a lot. I love Balnikov. Obviously, being a West Coast guy, Balnikov's a horse I'm very familiar with. I'm willing to scratch that last effort in the Pegasus World Cup Invitational. Ran into a bunch of trouble. Just didn't look like his day. And more than that, I think this is another horse that's definitely the marathon type. This is certainly where he thrives. You mentioned the win at Keeneland. That is pretty, that looks favorably. Always good to know a horse can ship in. And a horse likes the turf course, but obviously a graded stakes horse through and through. So if he follows that similar pattern, we're looking at a big effort here on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of these exotics are really going to hit. So there you have it. I'll be taking the 2 Grand Sonata for the first leg of my daily double, and Ryan will be taking the 1 Rebel Red. Let's move on to the next race at Keeneland. My notes out, excuse me. So we got the Grade 3 Ben Ali Stakes, which is the 10th race at Keeneland Saturday. Mile is 16th on the dirt for 4-year-olds and up. Last year's winner was Kings Barnes, who won by 3 1/4 lengths at odds of 3-1. Odds on favorite for trainer Todd Pletcher with Luis Saez aboard. Kings Barnes went on to win the Grade 1 Stephen Foster at Churchill in June of last year in his last race before retirement. Field of 7 here. The more I look at, the more intrigued I am. But who's your top play in here?
Yeah, my top play is going to go out to the number 7 Uno Mas Bourbon. Nicely named for being out in Kentucky. But Ian Wilkes, Brian Hernandez team up again. They obviously just had the Grade 1 win in the Toyota Bluegrass Stakes out at Keeneland this past week with Burnham Square. So I look for this one. This one seems to be growing into himself really nicely. Now a 4-year-old colt. This one last time out went 1 turn mile at Gulfstream Park. I don't think that's what this horse really wants to do. This horse, everything, shows to me that this horse really wants to stretch his legs. The 1.125 looking 4 back in the, I believe it's the Super Derby. I know it's at Louisiana Downs, but he really got a chance to kind of stretch out there. Came right back going 1.125 and lost to a good horse in Hit Show that day, finishing 3rd. With a pretty strong speed figure, and he's just really built upon that. He's improved his speed figure in each of his last 7 starts. So I'm looking for this one to come back out. 7 starts on dirt, excuse me. So I'm looking for this one to come back out and fire a really strong effort. Going the mile in a 3/16. We're not ending at the first finish line here at Keeneland. So that obviously is not going to deter me from taking a horse from off the pace. I think this horse is going to want every bit of this mile in 3/16 distance. And you should get a pretty fair price looking at around 7-2 on the morning line. I could see him definitely providing that kind of value as we go. So that's a pretty strong A for me. Underneath, I'm going to be using the number 3 Tennessee Lamb for Jose Ortiz and Rusty Arnold. This one's been kind of racing into shape. Came back going real long on the turf. Finished 12th by a distance, but came right back out on the dirt going the 1 turn mile. Finished off really nicely, winning that race by over 5 lengths. Now stretches out, gets placed into graded stakes company only after breaking his maiden 3 starts ago, but he had a win going this mile in 3/16 distance at Churchill Downs. So distance is no question for this runner. Rusty Arnold seems to be bringing this along really nicely. And this is another 4-year-old that I think has, the best is yet to come for this runner. And then I'll end it off down on the rail with San Siro for Brendan Walsh, Edgar Morales aboard. This runner last out was 4th in the New Orleans Classic. Obviously, that was a pretty loaded field. You had Touch Upon a Star, the Louisiana bred, who ended up taking him wire to wire. But behind them, Hall of Fame and, of course, your Breeders' Cup Classic winner for 2024, Sierra Leone, making his debut. So that was a really tough field. He's not meeting any of those runners in this race. Even if you brought Touch Upon a Star in, Touch Upon a Star is going to be a heavy favorite off that last effort. So I think he gets a decent amount of class relief here. He's not facing any world beaters. And I look at that effort too back at the fairgrounds in his optional claiming non-2 other than race, where he was able to level off really nice. He opened up on that field. Obviously, he has to switch off Lasix here, which may be a bit of a concern, which is why I didn't pick him any higher. But being by Classic Empire out of a Bernardini mare, I think, again, distance is not going to be an issue. Third off the bench for this runner, another 4-year-old that I think has a lot of promising upside this year. So 7-3-1 here for the Grade 3 Ben Ali Stakes.
Well, you and I didn't talk before this episode, but we kind of landed on the same ones. Oh, sorry, that's yours. I picked the 3 though ahead of your 7. This Tennessee Lamb horse. I'm so interested in this horse. 4-year-old tonalist colt out of a Smart Strike mare. Cashmere, you'll find out. Running as a homebred for Calumet Farm for the Rusty Arnold barn with Jose Ortiz aboard, which I think is huge. They don't have a lot of starts together, Jose Ortiz and Rusty Arnold, but majority of those at Keeneland. In the last 5 years, they do win at 22% together at all tracks and all races. 5 wins from just 23 starts, but 52% in the money. This will be Jose Ortiz's first time riding Tennessee Lamb. He's winning at 26% in his last 60 mounts. First time winning, 15 wins from 60 starts. Took Tennessee Lamb quite a bit, 8 starts to break his maiden, trying turf, trying dirt, trying to sprint, trying routes, but he put it all together, going 1 mile and 3/16 on the dirt, same as the Ben Ali, in a maiden special weight at Churchill in November, driving clear by 4 1/4 lengths, earning a 94 Equibase speed figure. If you go back to October 14th, 2023, you'll see that Tennessee Lamb actually lost a door knock in a maiden special weight at Keeneland, and then also ran second to Bedard on a main special weight, lost to Axar Ben Derby in a main special weight as well. So he's been running against some pretty tough horses. But going back recently, for whatever reason, they try him back on the turf after he broke his maiden on the dirt, and he finished by 12th by 9 lengths. But then last time he goes back on dirt and an allowance optional claiming at Gulfstream and runs off by 5 1/4 lengths, earning his best career best Equibase speed figure of a 96. His last 4 starts on dirt, he has 2 seconds and 2 wins, running in races at Churchill, Keeneland, and Gulfstream. So this one horse, it kind of looks easy to write off, but I think he's just getting to the best of his potential in here. He is the slowest of the bunch on paper, ranked 8th in here, or 7th, excuse me, in an average speed with an 85, but it's actually not really that far off from any other horse in here, especially considering this one, Tennessee Lamb, is the only one in here yet to run in a stakes race. And he's also ranked 3rd in late pace rating with a 102.5. Breezed the bullet 5 furlongs in a minute flat April 6th at Churchill, and then took a little easier on him in his final workout before this race, going 4 furlongs and 49.4 at Churchill as well. But I also need to add this in here. Tennessee Lamb's dam is Tennessee Whiskey, who is the dam of Tennessee Moon, who is the winningest horse in all of North America in 2024. 13 wins last year. So I thought that's pretty interesting.
Poll. That's an excellent poll, without a doubt.
I was like, Tennessee Whiskey, Tennessee. I was like, I actually went to go see Tennessee Moon in the Claiming Crown at Churchill in November. I just wanted to see him. It was really cool. The owner trainer Mark Hibden does everything himself with that horse. So you just love those little stories. I do like Uno Mas Bourbon, especially at 7-2, quite a bit. You know, as you said, with Burnham Square, Ian Wilkes and Brian Hernandez Jr. are pretty dangerous together in graded stakes at Keeneland. Won the Louisiana Super Derby as well. But what I don't like, 3 regressing Equibase speed figures since the Fayette. He was a stake scratch out of the Grade 2 New Orleans Stakes as well, which is always a question mark. And I think he'll probably be bet down just from Hernandez and Wilkes. So I'm going to put him in 2nd, but third one I also like is your San Siro. Can't ignore Brendan Walsh's meet, winning at 33% and 43% in dirt routes. I mean, geez, ran 4th behind Sierra Leone, like you mentioned. I just didn't think he gave a very good effort in stakes company, but repeating that 104 is pretty tough. So we'll see. But I do really like this Tennessee Lamb, and I think we're going to get a pretty good price on him.
We should. I think your favorite, it's likely post-time favorite, might be the number 6 Duke of Love. Going to take a lot of my racehorse money, second off the bench for Josie Carroll. Talented horse. If you go back to, the Grade 1 Jockey Cup, Gold Cup, that was Saratoga, though, in 2023. This horse is second off of a, year and a half layoff. So I think this horse is going to take some money just being out of my racehorse. Typically they do. They really love to flock to their horses and bet them, which you obviously love to see, but that's going to take too much money for me. So I'm looking elsewhere on a horse that still has to prove that he can come back off Again, year and a half layoff. It's a lot to go a mile and 3/16 second off the bench. They debuted him going 7, or brought him back rather, going 7 at Gulfstream. So stretches out here. Johnny V does keep the mount. But yeah, it's 7-3-1 for me and 3-7-1 for you. So I'd feel comfortable, using those 3 in my horizontals without a doubt.
Yeah, I agree. Well, there you go. I'll be going with Tennessee Lamb, and Ryan will be going with Uno Moss Bourbon. But last but not least, the 1.25 million Grade 2 Oaklawn Handicap, which is race 11 in Oaklawn on Saturday, a mile and an eighth on the dirt for 4-year-olds and up. Some legendary horses have won this race in the past. 1995 Cigar, 2003 Medaglia d'Oro, 2007 one of my all-time favorites, Lawyer Ron, 2014 Will Take Charge, and 2016 FNX, just to name a few. But last year's winner was Skippy Longstocking for trainer Saffy Joseph Jr. with Jose Ortiz aboard. Skippy Longstocking is back this year to defend his Oaklawn Handicap title, but this time he has Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard. Morning line of 5-2. Ryan, you think he can repeat, or are you looking elsewhere?
He's got a shot. He's in my top 3. I believe I used him in second as I went 2-4-8 here to start us off. The number 2, though, Disarm, gun runner out of a Tappet mare. This horse seems to be just getting better. Obviously, ran second in the Grade 1 Travers in his 3-year-old season. So that he had a really strong run there, from 4th in the Derby with a couple graded stakes in between, and then the second in the Travers behind Arcangelo that year. But has really come back, came in off the bench after having the winter off since running 4th in the Lucas Classic. Came back in a really nice way last time out in a optional claiming event where he beat Ben Doog, a very nice Bill Mott trained horse. But yeah, these gun runners, we've seen it time and again, and it's the theme that goes along with my number 8 pick as well. But Disarm, out of gun runner, just seems to be getting better. This is his 5-year-old season. I'm looking for him to kind of keep improving. He should sit a really nice trip here. Just kind of off, all the pace. I think there is a fair amount of pace in here, which is why I couldn't pick Skippy Longstocking on top. Skippy likes to be pretty close. Definitely has some tactical speed, but it appears that this runner's at his best when he can really, see the leader and has him in his really clear sights. So he had a 106 buyer in the Charlestown Classic where he kind of went wire to wire. Last time out in the Grade 3 Challenger at Tampa, he was right on the pace. He had his leader in the sight, had the leader in sights at all points of call, and then just kind of pulled off towards the end. So that's kind of where I anticipate Skippy Longstocking being. However, in this race, he has, outside speed to contend with in the number 5, Alexander Helios, the number 6, Tarantino, and the number 7, Banishing, all of which like to be forwardly placed, which could put Skippy Longstocking in a vulnerable position. So picked him second because I do believe he's the best horse in this race based on pure talent. And if he sits his right trip, he's, he knows how to pass horses. He knows how to do his thing, and he knows how to find that winner's circle. So I definitely wanted to respect him a little bit. But my third choice is the number 8, Red Route 1, a familiar name that's tough to say. But this runner, another one out of Gun Runner, another one by Gun Runner out of a Tappet mare, very similar to the connection to the number 2, also trained by Steve Asmussen, also owned by Winchell Thoroughbreds. This one likes to come from off the pace. I mentioned I can see a pretty contentious pace in here. Ran a really nice 98 speed figure, 123 time form in the Essex Stakes at Oaklawn Park. 2 wins, 2 seconds, and a third from 8 starts over the Oaklawn surface. This one seems to be, again, rounding into the right kind of form. And if he gets some pace in front of him, he's going to be able to run him down the lane. Eric Asmussen, the brother of Keith, aboard this one. So I'm looking forward to seeing the 2 and the 8 kind of charge at what I would imagine be Skippy Longstockings. They're coming down that Oaklawn stretch. But I think both of those pose a really nice upset threat, and they're 15-1 and I believe 10-1 on the morning line, respectively. So those would provide some really nice value if you're able to get by your favorite in the number 4, Skippy Longstocking.
Very logical, very logical. I'm very scared about Red Route Run after what he did in that Essex Handicap, and Asmussen and Saffy both with a pair of entries this year. I decided to go with the other Saffy horse. Very interesting for the Saffy Joseph Jr. barn with Luis Saez coming in town to ride. Fun fact, Alexander Helios is a half to 2021 Preakness Stakes winner Rombauer. Another fun fact, I work with Rombauer every day. One of the scariest horses I've ever worked with. Very, very mean. Helped get him to breed his first year in the shed. But I do love the home team, so I'm rooting for the connections. John and Diane Fraction, they're just the nicest people. But anyway, regardless, Alexander Helios started his career out in Cali at Santa Anita in the Michael McCarthy barn. After finishing 4th on career debut, he took a 7-month layoff before a second career start down in Gulfstream with a trainer switch to Saffie. Ran in the money 3 consecutive times before breaking his maiden by 2 1/4 lengths in a maiden special weight at Churchill in November of 2023. Comes right back to win an allowance optional claimer at Tampa in January of last year before coming to Oaklawn. Ran 3rd in his first start at Oaklawn in an allowance race. Comes back to win a month after that in the same conditions. Run 2nd to Hit Show back in May of last year, who, obviously went on to win 5 graded stakes, including the Grade 1 or Group 1 Dubai World Cup, as we just saw. After he runs 2nd to Hit Show, he wins an allowance optional Gulfstream. Then wins the Grade 3 Razorback Handicap last time out by a head, running a career best 115. And the Razorback Banishing, who's a 7 in here, the mooring line of 7-2, finished 2nd. And then won the Grade 3 Oaklawn Mile next time out. First Mission, who was the mooring line 2-1 favorite in here, finished 3rd. Red Route Run, who's the 8 in here, finished 7th in the Razorback. Came back to win the Grade 3 Essex, as we said, by 4.5 lengths. So the 10th place finisher in the Razorback also came back to win in his next start. I think that's just huge on the amount of talent that Alexander Helios was able to beat that day. Just really impressive win. On his last 4 starts, some stat lines at Equibase. Here we go. Over the past year, Saffie, he's winning at 56% in stakes races at Oaklawn, 5 wins from 9 starts. In the past 3 years, Saffie wins at 37% in all races at Oaklawn, 7 wins from 19 starts and 53% in the money with a plus 39% ROI. I'm definitely a little bit concerned with the front running speed, but I think this horse is just getting really, really, really good. I think Skippy, I think the world is Skippy Longstocking, but I think he's more on the decline of his career than on the upward trend, which I think Alexander Helios is. But other contenders I like, you gotta put in First Mission, a Godolphin homebred by Street Sense for the Brad Cox barn with Flavian Pratt coming into ride. Pratt and Cox in greatest stakes, pretty top tier. Past 3 years, they win at 24%, 19 wins from 80 starts, 59% in the money. Past 5 years, they win at 33% together at all stakes races at Oaklawn, 7 wins from 21 starts, 67% in the money. In the past 5 years, this is a fantastic race lines angle. Brad Cox with horses in graded stakes owned by Godolphin. Past 5 years, he wins at 40% and 71% in the money. 33 wins from 82 starts, 58 in the money with a plus 30% ROI. I was surprised on the plus ROI.
Yeah, that's surprising, but that's great.
So if you do have race lines out there, I would go add that angle and get yourself notified. Although you'll probably already see the Brad Cox horse in there. But this horse is also proven at this level. First Mission, 3 graded stakes wins under his belt. If you can return to that horse he was a year ago, I think he'll run off in this race. But I have my doubts about that. He ran a game 3rd by just a neck to Alexander Helios and Banishing, as I mentioned before. A year ago, I think he would have ran right by Alexander Helios and Banishing, going back to the same form as he was, winning that Grade 3 Essex last year by 5 lengths and the Grade 2 LSU by 4 lengths. But he's yet to find the winner's circle since. But he is ranked first in class here with a 113 and ranked first in late pace rating as well with a 127, which is one of my favorites. You just got to add him in if you're going to do exotics. And Skippy Longstock, and you also have to add him in. I mean, he's just a winner. All those Saffie Oaklawn stats also apply to Skippy in here. Speediest of the bunch, ranked first in average speed with a 108, coming off a win in the Grade 2 Charlestown Classic, a 2nd in the Grade 2 Woodward, 6th in the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, but 3rd in the Grade 1 Pegasus World Cup, and a nice 1 1/4 length win in the Grade 3 Challenger Stakes last time out. He's run 5 consecutive triple-digit Equway speed figures, 1 for 1 at Oaklawn, obviously winning this race last year. But 5 wins, 2 seconds, and 3/3 at this mile and 1/8 distance. So he does like this distance. But I think there's a big chance that Saffie goes 1-2 in this race with either 4-5 or 5-4. But also, I think you got to add in those First Missions. But then you see Asmussen in there as well with two pretty tough contenders. So it's going to be a fantastic race going for $1.25 million.
Without a doubt, it's going to be a great race. I think you can make a case for just about every horse in this field. So it's almost guaranteed, I would say, to end in a photo finish with so many horses that love to win races. They know where the wire's at, and they have a really strong finishing ability. So, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I love your picks. Obviously, I'm confident about mine, too. A horse that I was surprised neither of us had is the number 7 Banishing, who, got out to routing 1 and 2 back. And is really just came on nicely. I thought it odd that I mean, I guess not with the Godolphin connections, but Pratt hops off of Banishing to go ride First Mission. So another horse that
I think
definitely
Banishing I think he's a sprinter or a miler. I do think that. I could be wrong. I mean, obviously, he only lost by a head to Alexander Helios, and that he's able to stay on top. But
I don't disagree entirely with that point. I do think he's a mile is his best distance, which it's a good thing they have that race, the Metropolitan Handicap over in New York. So I feel like he could be a really strong mile contender, without a doubt, because I think that one turn might hit him between the eyes.
I'll tell you what, Race Lens though has Banishing winning like on everything, so I kind of went against that. But anyway, I'll be going with Alexander Helios, and Ryan will be going with Disarm. So thank you so much, Ryan, for being on. We're definitely going to have you back on. You're great. Thank you everybody for watching. Good luck in your wagers this weekend, and we'll see you next week.